It has snowed heavy and soft across the village, and the first pale sun is already carving warm lines into the white. If you found this interesting and almost smelled the delicious aroma of this traditional recipe, leave a comment below. Delicious. And subscribe to the channel so you don't miss more ancestral recipes cooked in nature. Smoke threads up from low chimneys, boots crunch on crusted pathways. In the small courtyard, Sarah stands at the wooden table, sleeves rolled, a row of fish laid out like tokens of the morning. Beside her, Negan rubs her hands and watches. Zara moves between the coop and the yard checking the hens, and Neela appears from the woodpile with an armful of split logs. Today they will turn the cold into a kitchen festival. Salmon skewers, a tender pan-fried pike, called Amur here, and a slow, fragrant regional fish braise admired across homes in the nearby lowlands. Sarah holds up the salmon first, its flesh a bright promise. She explains quietly why careful handling matters. A gentle touch keeps it whole. The women begin with the routine that steadies every fish day, scaling, removing fins, and rinsing. Fingers find the right rhythm. The scales come away in soft, papery showers. The narrator watches the close work of hands and tool, the small sounds of scale against wood, water murmuring in a basin. A midwinter sun glints on silver skin. Now watch how a splash of hot water changes everything. Sarah pours steaming water over the salmon's skin, and it eases. Loosened, it peels back without tearing the flesh. She smiles and threads a wooden skewer through each fillet, from thick to thin, shaping the fish so it will stay flat and cook evenly. A little oil, a squeeze of lemon, black pepper cracked by her palm, and a gentle dusting of crushed coriander seeds and a hint of turmeric. Bright, earthy notes against the salmon's richness. She says, "Skewers keep the juices where they belong." It is a simple secret. Slow heat and steady patience do most of the work. If you enjoy traditional village cooking, please like and subscribe. While the salmon rests, attention moves to the freshwater catch known here as endvis, pike, or amur in local markets. Negan takes these fish and shows a familiar rhythm. A light dusting of flour, then breadcrumbs she squeezes in her palms to make a loose, homey crust. Egg is optional. Today they use a little milk to help the crumbs adhere. There is a small, personal flourish, ginger grated into the coating for a bright lift, and black pepper ground fresh. The pan is nearly empty at first. Then a pool of oil spreads and breathes heat. Negan lays the fillets down with a soft hiss. They do not scream. They settle into a gentle, persistent sizzle. She keeps the flame low. Too hot takes the life out of it, she notes, and the crust browns slowly, whisper by whisper. As the pike cooks, she mixes a simple sauce. Crushed garlic folded into plain mayonnaise, a squeeze of lime, a little grated ginger, and a smidge of salt. It is bright enough to cut the fried richness, familiar enough to make everyone nod. Between the pan and the wood stove, there is time for small comforts. Neela returns from the forest, shoulders dusted with snow, and adds logs to a slow-burning pile. Zara comes back from the hens with warm eggs tucked into a basket. She pats one in her palm before placing it on the bench. Negan slips into the garden and brings a handful of fresh coriander and fenugreek leaves. Tiny, fragrant green pockets of heat and bitterness that will lift a stew. The kitchen fills with the sound of spoons, the hiss of oil, distant laughter, the kettle's first whistle. Someone pours coffee, hands warm around tin mugs as the air shifts from cold to comfortable. The third preparation is the heart of the day, a regional braise that tells of South Iran kitchen tables and long afternoons by the stove. Sarah begins with onions in the pot, sliced thin until they soften and sweeten. Garlic joins, followed by ground coriander and turmeric, fenugreek's faint maple note, and a spoonful of tomato or pomegranate paste, chosen for its rich, tangy depth. She explains in a soft voice that preserves tradition. The paste brings bright acidity that balances the oily fish and the winter heaviness. They brown the aromatics slowly so nothing signs like hurry. The smell deepens into something almost like memory. Pieces of the local whitefish go into the simmering, nestling into the spiced sauce. A ribbon of olive oil glazes the surface. A squeeze of lemon wakes the pot. The women taste and correct with a practiced hand. More salt, a whisper of ground pepper, another leaf of fenugreek. Rice is put onto steam, and a simple salad of chopped cucumber and herbs is brought out to add freshness. The braise simmers until the fish yields easily at the touch of a spoon, the sauce reduced to a gentle, fragrant hug. Each block of cooking keeps small rhythms. A glance at the fire, a check of the oil, a pinch of something added because it feels right. The camera lingers on little lessons: how to run a knife along a fillet so it separates cleanly, how to test oil temperature by dropping a breadcrumb, how to fold herbs into a sauce at the last moment to keep them alive. These are not hard rules, but the kinds of hints that make home cooking feel like a shared secret. Midway through the preparations, Sarah lifts the skewered salmon to the coals of a small outdoor grill. The village wind is thin and clean. Smoke circles up and carries the scent of citrus and spice into the courtyard. The salmon turns color as it cooks, blushing from translucent to opaque, edges caramelizing in a gentle kiss. When she removes the skewers, the flesh still trembles with moisture, and everyone inhales as if the smell were a small blessing. Back at the stove, Negan plates the golden pike with its crisp crust, spooning the gingery mayo beside it. The braise is ladled into wide, shallow bowls, steam rising in soft, aromatic clouds. Plates are set on a long table outdoors, blankets folded over laps. Family members drift in, grandmothers wrapped in heavy shawls, children with red noses, neighbors who never miss a meal. There is a delicate clatter of spoons and old conversation as plates are passed around. The first bites are quiet. Faces change in a way that needs no comment. Someone hums approval. A child reaches for a chunk of salmon and giggles at the bright, lemony bite. A grandmother closes her eyes after the braise and pats her chest, the small sound of contentment. The combination of textures, the crisp of the pike, the soft yield of the salmon, the deep, tangy stew, creates a roundness that suits the weather. Food doing what food should do in winter, giving warmth and company. As the meal settles and the last steeped coffee is poured, Sarah looks around and says simply, "We cook to keep each other warm." It is not a sermon, just the plain truth of a household that shares labor and reward. A short blessing follows, offered as a wish for health and peace over the gathered plates. Gentle, inclusive, and quiet as a closing door. The day winds down with the stove's amber glow, and the courtyard bathed again in the soft, late light. Bowls are emptied and stacked. Leftovers are wrapped in cloth for tomorrow. Neela returns to the last of the wood. Zara checks the hens. Negan hands Sarah a small slice of bread still warm from the oven. There is a lingering sense that winter has been met not as an enemy, but as a companion, softened by care and honest food. If this glimpse of village life and these simple fish recipes warmed your day, please like and subscribe. Join us next time for more kitchen stories from here. May your table be full and your gatherings gentle. May the warmth you give come back to you.